Yes, it's my favorite time of year. Christmas? Holidays? New Year's? Thanksgiving? No, my favorite time of year is when the Georgia Association of Realtors releases their new contracts for the upcoming year. Hi everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors and the director of the Real Estate Academy of America, here to begin a new series on the 2025 changes to the GAR contract package. So hi everybody, let's dive in. I am going to break up these changes into small bite-sized pieces and want to invite everybody. The Real Estate Academy of America is teaching free 3-hour CE classes on the 2025 GAR changes. This is December of 2024. Today is actually December 4th, 2024. We will be teaching these classes throughout the month of December, as well as moving into January. We have a variety of options. We have many of our instructors teaching them. Many of our closing attorneys, well known throughout Metro Atlanta, are teaching them in person, virtually, a huge variety of options so that you stay well versed on the contract changes. I will link the calendar for the Real Estate Academy of America below. And for now, I am just going to just cover just an overview of what to expect so you can get as excited as I am. So love to hear your thoughts. Please comment below. I also invite you to please subscribe so that you don't miss any in this series about the changes to the 2025 Georgia Association of Realtors contract package. So let me share my screen and we are just going to dive in again with a brief overview. So generally speaking, 3 forms have been eliminated. 1 form has been renamed. There are 9 new forms. Yes, 9 new forms. That is a lot. 1 new consumer brochure. 1 special stipulation has been modified. There's also another consumer brochure on Radon that has been modified or updated. Most of the changes to the 2025 GAR contract forms package is in reflection or direct response to Georgia laws, federal regulations, and of course the NAR settlement. The NAR settlement did receive final approval November 26, 2024, but that is currently under appeal and there are additional lawsuits. Nevertheless, we are where we are and the forms at this point are reflective of what's going on at this point in time. The 3 forms that were eliminated have to do with financing, forms that have rarely been used in the past few years. The F428, the seller financing third mortgage exhibit, F431, the seller financing wraparound mortgage exhibit, and F434, the subordination agreement. So those have been eliminated. The forms that have been renamed is the F259. And if you have been watching my videos or in any of my classes, this is not a surprise to you. You knew this was coming up. The F259 was the broker compensation agreement exhibit, and it had a place not only for buyer broker compensation, but seller broker compensation. Well, that did not make any sense because this is an exhibit to a buyer's offer. And when a buyer is making their initial offer, they have absolutely no idea anything regarding the compensation between the public seller and their own broker. So that whole section was eliminated, as we have discussed since July when this form came out, and the form has been renamed the Buyer's Broker Compensation Agreement Exhibit. Additionally, there was a modified special stipulation, SS 302, amendment to address concerns as notice to terminate. And GAR has added some time frames into the complete execution and enforcement of this amendment. Of this special stipulation. Very interesting. And I'm going to go through all of these forms in depth in future videos. Just wanted to introduce you and warm you up and give you a sense of what is coming. 9 new forms. Okay, ready? F117, seller's broker's notice to unrepresented buyer. What is that all about? F118, showing agreement. I'm really going to be interested in your response to this form. I don't see it being used that often, but nevertheless, you'll see when we get to that form. F317, buyer's broker's notice to seller of seller's obligations regarding lead-based paint. What on earth, Dana? What are you talking about? Why does a buyer's broker have to notify a seller of their obligations? I'll get to that when we get to that form, and that is in response to a change in the lead-based paint disclosure that GAR released mid-year, July 1st, 2024. Stay tuned for a full explanation. And the F318, the seller's broker's notice to the seller of the seller's obligations regarding lead-based paint. The EPA, just so you know what's going on, the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, changed their federal regulations in April of 2024. So in response to the new federal regulations from the EPA, GAR has updated their forms and added these new forms so that agents and brokers can stay in compliance with the EPA. Additionally, F846, visitor sign-in sheet and disclaimer. I see a couple of uses for this form. I think you guys are going to like this one. F847, viewing a house under construction. F935, application for reasonable accommodation or modification. F936, policy to allow reasonable accommodation and modification for persons with disabilities exhibit. And F937, these 3 go together. Response to a request for a reasonable accommodation and or modification. And then the new consumer brochure is a brochure not only for consumers, but for realtors as well. The CB29, what buyers, sellers, and realtors need to know about buying agricultural land and land near military bases, installations, and airport. And that one is in response to a Georgia law, new Georgia law for 2024 that went into effect July 1st. And there is verbiage in that in the GAR purchase and sale agreement and the brokerage agreements that was put in 7/1/24 in the mid-year revisions, but this consumer brochure is a new brochure for 2025. Now, let's briefly talk about some universal changes. Generally speaking, throughout all of the forms, the term commission is now compensation or compensation for professional services. The paragraphs about the GAR forms, various disclosures from the Georgia Association of REALTORS about their forms. They removed some of the verbiage that these forms may need to be modified and changed it slightly to the parties agree to carefully review the GAR forms to be used and modify the same to meet their specific needs. This paragraph still includes that no one is required to use the GAR forms. Parties should seek legal advice if they are concerned about a contract meeting their specific needs. Anyone using the GAR forms must use them in accordance with the GAR licensing agreement. And the Georgia courts may strike down or not enforce provisions in the GAR forms as written, as well as other provisions that weren't changed. Another universal change for 2025 is the statute of limitations has been changed from 2 years, and it will now read 1 year. And another big change, and this is really helpful not only to our public clients and customers, but to agents and brokers as well. Now, above every signature line, there is pre-printed instructions for a signature when a party to a contract is a legal entity. And what it states is, if a buyer or seller is a legal entity, this agreement must be signed by one or more authorized persons as required in the entity's legal documents. That would be, for example, their articles of incorporation or their member agreement. But the GAR form goes on to say, the forms go on to say, the person's signature must include the capacity in which the person is signing, such as trustee, general partner, manager, president, etc. So stay tuned, stick with me. We will dive into all of the changes that the Georgia Association of Realtors has made to their 2025 contract package. And I look forward to exploring these changes with you. Going through this, I look forward to interacting with y'all here on this video through the comments, as well as in our classes and our sales meetings. If you are a Maximum One agent watching this, these will be discussed at all of the sales meetings in the next few months with your brokers, with your closing attorneys, and I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education. Bye. If you like that video, check out the one here. If you like the content on this entire channel, please click here to subscribe. I try to take even the most complicated of real estate situations and make them crystal clear. See what I did there? Real estate made crystal clear. Thank you guys so much for watching.